Hello everyone, ladies and gentlemen, to quote Finnegan's Wake, Salut à tous. I say that in French because I've got International Library over here. I got a bunch of French books. My name is Mark, and this is Several Books. Okay, so this is an introduction video. This is my mission statement. This is the video that's supposed to guide us forward and you know give birth to the great fruits of my intellectual endeavors. The reality is that this is probably not a wholly original YouTube channel, but I want to talk about who I am. I want to talk about what distinguishes the channel and what makes it unique. And then I'm going to talk briefly about some of the authors that we're going to discuss. So, three things. The first thing is myself. As I said, my name is Mark. I am an IT guy. I make my living in IT. As you can see, I've got bookshelves. The stuff that is on those bookshelves is mostly on those bookshelves because of working in IT. That's how I make my living. At one point in my life, I had wanted to pursue the highest echelons of university education and try my hand at becoming a college English teacher, professor. And that was not what life had in store for me. So I've worked very hard and I work in IT. I have two degrees. I have a degree in information systems and a degree in English. Um, Along with that, I have some CompTIA certifications, which are IT certifications for those of you not familiar with that. They're not exactly professional licenses, but there is an organizing body. You have to take tests and prove competence at certain IT subjects. So I have some of those, not a huge amount, but I have a few. And I also have a Delph B1 cert that I got around maybe the beginning or middle of COVID. I guess it might have been the middle. The B1 level of French competency for the certification is sort of like a business French level. If you wanted to study in France, as I had thought about doing, you would need a B2. Where I am spoken French now, I believe that my French spoken is very comfortably in B1. When I talk, I make grammatical mistakes, but I read at a much higher level than that. And I mention all of this because, as you can see, I've got my French books here. You're going to be seeing a lot of French books, and you're going to be seeing Francophone literature. So, things that I have read in French include things like I read all of Moliere in French, and I did it very comfortably. I understood it. The way that I approached it was to read the play once to get a general idea, go back and read it a second time. And the second time, generally, I could fill in all of the blanks if I missed anything. So, if in that sense, you could say I've read Moliere in French twice or more. But generally speaking, yes, I read French very comfortably. You will be seeing French language. You will be seeing French literature, French language literature. I'm mostly going to try to keep to things that are published in English. Also, there are authors such as Pascal Quignard, who is right here. He's only got like 6 books published in English. I believe that there is in the Anglophone world some kind of cult following around some of his historical fiction. But I've read 15 of his books in French, and or it might be more than that. It's not important. The whole point that I'm trying to say is that this is what's out here. This is what I'm going to be reviewing. So that's me. That's me, and one of my little unique obsessions, trying desperately to understand the written word in French and to improve, améliorer mon français. All right, the second thing I wanted to talk about is what distinguishes this channel, and we've already started to do that. What distinguishes this channel? Two things. The first thing is that you're going to be seeing a little more Francophone literature than normal for a Anglophone literature YouTube channel. What I'm reading right now is Les Bienveillants, or The Kindly Ones. I would describe it as like a historical fiction book for the reader of David Foster Wallace. And what I had originally thought of doing for this channel was to bleed this introduction into the first book review, and what I was going to review was Gaël Faye, the French rapper, has written two books that are both very, very good overall. They're not the best things ever written, but they're solid showings for a novel. He's written two. The first is called Petit Pays, and that's a novel of growing up in Rwanda, and the second is called Jacaranda, and Jacaranda is named after a tree. There is a jacaranda tree in the novel, big shocker. It's mostly life abroad and back to Rwanda. And for somebody like me, these things are very interesting because I don't hear much about many African countries very often. So that's the first thing that distinguishes the channel. A zest for French literature. And the second thing that distinguishes the channel is that I'm going to be making a lot of tier lists. I don't think I'm going to be using the stock image of the S, A, B, C, F tier, but I might do that. But the whole reason I'm doing that is because you frequently see the deep dive videos or the videos of, the Cormac McCarthy tier. I feel like I've seen several places. I'm going to do one of those. Fan of Cormac McCarthy. Not my favorite writer, but I am a fan. So what I'm going to be doing is a lot of those tier videos. And that was the idea for the title name, several books. I thought what I'll do is I'll review several books at once rather than one. The way that I read is typically to read 5 or 6 books by a novelist and really jump into that writer. Recently I did this with Jean Genet. I had read 2 or 3 of his books before, and I went out and finished the rest of them. He hasn't written tens of books, but diving into all of the plays and all of the novels in French was a very rewarding experience, and he is, for the most part, available in English, so we'll touch on him. But now that I mention an author who I've read, we can talk about this last piece, and that is what type of books will be covered in this channel. I want to first start by showing off my Henry James t-shirt. I got this online. It's not it's not a perfect watercolor of Mr. James, but I like it. It has character. It's a good shirt. I'm a big fan of the t-shirt. If you see it online, feel free to go out and get one yourself. But I am a fan of Henry James. So what I'm trying to say by showing that is that my interest in literature is reflective of somebody who has an English degree. I like classics. I like classic novels. So when you say classics, typically it can mean something like you like the Odyssey. But I like my Victorian novels. I like my Edwardian novels. I like American literature. I like the beginning of the modern period for America. Your Theodore Dreisers, for instance. And I adore the book Winesburg, Ohio. But what we're going to be talking about is largely stuff that kind of fits into the lit bro milieu, but might be a bit different. When I think of the lit bros, typically I think Don DeLillo, who I'm going through a complete read-through of right now, that will be forthcoming. Cormac McCarthy, Thomas Pynchon, and Philip Roth, the big four from Harold Bloom. And then I also tend to think of William Volmont. I see more reference to him recently. What I'm going to be bringing in addition to most of those authors, if not all of them, is I'll do complete read-throughs. We'll do William Gaddis. Only did 5 novels, but they're all good. I'm going to do William Burroughs. You'll see Kathy Aker, Toni Morrison, Saul Bellow. I'm a very big Saul Bellow fan, and I don't see a lot of discussion of Saul Bellow when I do surf around online. And Cormac McCarthy, Robert Stone probably, Philip K. Dick, what's his name? Paul Bowles. I'm going to do a Richard Gates video. We'll do probably a Mary Gateskill. There are a few very contemporary writers writing since, say, 2000 or late 90s who have been active since then, such as Mary Gateskill we'll touch on. And a lot of my Francophone zest, my zeal, is for more contemporary work. So we'll do Welbeck, who I think you might be surprised if you're Anglophone. The French, to my knowledge, don't absolutely adore. They do give him a Goncourt, but a lot of French people don't seem to like him very much. And we'll do Virginie Despentes, who's a big name over there. There are a lot of authors. I love Emmanuel Carrère. So that's what we're going to be looking at where we're getting started. I want to also do a defense of Charles Bukowski for the Lit-Bro audience. So I'm going to be talking about Bukowski for people who look down on Bukowski. I don't think Bukowski's the greatest writer who ever lived, but I think he's competent, and I had read him when I was coming out of the hospital, and it was one of the few authors I could focus on when I was in the hospital, so it's a very positive experience of him. Hubert Selby Jr. I'll read is another writer like him. You know, kind of the outgrowths of the Beatniks. But yeah, so that's what I have planned for you. That's me. Oh, one last thing. I'm definitely going to be looking at short stories. So we're going to be getting a tier list in the U.S. until about 2016. From the 80s to 2016, there was an award called the RIA Award for the short story. It was a very prestigious award. Oftentimes the kinds of short fiction writers that you would cover in a writing program would have won that award. So I'm going to look at that and the Pen Malamud Award, and we'll do a ranking of at least one book by every winner or almost every winner of those 2 awards. That's everything. If I look up biographies for any writers, I'll include those biographies when I'm discussing them. And yeah, please like and subscribe. I think it'd be really cool to have a successful YouTube channel. I don't know a whole lot about this world, to be completely honest, but yeah, finger guns. Alright, thanks guys. Everybody have a great day. Like and subscribe.